Okay, welcome back to Noseball. Today we will be doing live ranking teams that could potentially win a championship in the next 5 years. Um, I'm just trying to make sure that this is all working out because I just tried to do this and it wasn't working originally, but I think we're good now. Yes, okay, perfect. Um, gonna wait a few minutes. Sorry for any complications, but yeah, we're gonna do, like I said, I made tiers for it. I have 5 tiers, and I'll get to it, but it's basically the first one is they have the best chance to do it. The second one is like I could see it, like there's a possibility, or let me see, I could see a possibility. Then I have the third one is not with the current roster construction. Four is needs a miracle. Then five is just there's no chance. I was originally gonna do like 1 through 30 ranking teams, but I don't know. I might still do that, but I don't know if that is what I want to do. Um, because I think that might be a little bit more fun to do. I don't know. Because if I'm just grouping, then that means no, actually, because I don't know if I want to rank specifically. I might do a little bit here and there inside of the tiers itself, but I don't know if I'm gonna do if I'm gonna do 1 through 30. So um I guess we can get to it. So this is the tiers that I was talking about, where we've got the tiers. All right, best chance. I could see a possibility. Not with the current roster construction, needs a miracle, and then there's just no chance. Like they even if they got a miracle, it wouldn't happen. Basically, is how that's gonna work. I've got basketball reference right here, um, just in case if we need it. Um, Even though it's not really centered all that well, so let me try and actually do that real quick. Um, okay, yeah. It's not perfect, but there we go. So we've got basketball reference just if we needed to go and check out some teams. But again, whoever has the best chance in the next 5 seasons. So, um, I think we can get started. Yeah, I think we can get started. Um, I wish I could have the chat pulled up right next to me, but I don't know how to. Whoa. Um, yeah, no, that's not it. All right. Well, anyways, I do have the comments pulled up on a device next to me, so I will look if anyone is commenting. But I think we just kind of get right into it. Start with the Atlanta Hawks. So the Atlanta Hawks, and again, next 5 years, they. Oh, I actually want to get up Fanspo as well because I want to be able to check if these teams have their own picks, if these teams have all stuff like that. So let's I guess just pull up trade machine. So like we'll just get the Hawks in here. Right. So the Hawks, Trae Young, Porzingis, Jalen Johnson, Nikhil, and Kongwu, Risa Shea. Like this is gonna be a very good team this season, a very fun team, I think. Let's see their pick. So they've got this this pick that was um the Derek White. This was from the Derek Queen stuff, I believe. because they ended up getting who they draft. I feel like they drafted somebody. I just can't remember who it is. But so they've got this pick, which could be very good. Milwaukee or New Orleans. They've got another first rounder between. It's got a bunch of protections. They don't really have their own because I believe San Antonio has that. Um, they've got a bunch of picks actually, so they do not have the worst spot. Right, they're not in the worst thing, but I don't think that this current roster of having like Porzingis, who will probably be starting. I also don't think Onyeka Okongwu is the perfect center. I just don't think this current roster construction. I don't really think there's too much of a chance. Um. So yeah. Um. The Boston Celtics. So the Boston Celtics, and I don't want to fly through some of these because I want to be able to talk about them. If anyone wants to say something, then they can. So after they traded away Georgius Niang, they are now below the second apron, which is good for them. Um, Obviously, Tatum is out all next year. So, not next year, but again, this isn't just next year. This is in the next 5 seasons. So, from now until 2030, which is crazy that that's in 5 years. But so, again, Anthony Simons is on a 1 year deal. We don't know if he's going to be for the future, if he's going to be a future Celtic. They're actually really close to being not even a first apron team, so that's actually good for them. But Derek White is like Derek White, Jalen Brown, Tatum, all locked in unless they make some crazy trade with Derek White or Brown. Sam Hauser is on the books. I don't know how longer he would be here for. I would assume Pritchard is here to stay, and then obviously the front court doesn't look great. But if we go to the picks, this is a team so they have their own first rounder in 2026. They have their own first rounder in 2027 and a San Antonio pick that they have the rights to swap in 2028. Nope, nothing in 2029, but they've got 2030, 31. So they still have access to a good amount of their picks. So this team isn't in the worst chance. Obviously, they won in 2024. Um, there's definitely a possibility they get another. Now, I think if they were, it would be in the back half. So like in 2029 maybe they get another. This isn't a team where like I don't think, especially with how it looks right now, when Tatum comes back in 2027, say he doesn't play at all this year, which he probably shouldn't. 2027, I don't think they're gonna be right back into being a top two team out east. They're gonna be they could be top four or whatever, but I just don't know if they're gonna have that same contender thing that they've always had next to their name like they for the past I don't know 4 or 5 years. Um, Brooklyn Nets is next, so let's go down to the Nets. The Nets have 29 picks, so they just got a ton of rookies. When if you're talking about, oh, they don't actually even have the rookies in here, but like Danny Wolf, Jaeger Demon, Nolan Trayor, Drake Powell, I believe his name is, and then there's one more, Ben Seraph. But they've got their own pick for this coming season, which they're gonna need. They've got 2 picks. So the New York Knicks first rounder, which will probably be a high mid-20s pick. Um, Houston holds the right to swap in 2027, but then they've got a ton of pick. Like they've got so much that they could do. They've got a lot of seconds, I will say. But seconds have become more and more popular. Um, I don't really see a chance of this happening. Not in the next 5 years, I think. So I think I'm putting them in no chancey, but no chance and needs a miracle is too they're kind of similar because like right if the Brooklyn Nets get a miracle then whatever, but actually I'm gonna say they need a miracle because they're Brooklyn, they're in New York, they're not the Knicks of course, but they kind of sort of have a market a little bit. even though they're like the little brother to the New York Knicks. They've got their pick. Like stuff would need to happen. Um, you know what? Do I take away no chance because like there are some teams that like that's obvious. So I think we're just gonna do needs a miracle is gonna be the last thing here. Um, yeah. Um, whoa, what's going on? Why am I stuck on Cat Machine? Um, why do you guys? All right, hold on. Just realized you guys can't see the things that I'm seeing. Switch here. Let me turn this off, turn that back on. Why is this giving me such an issue? Um, okay. Well, give me a yes. All right. Give me a second while I I don't know why this is giving me such an issue. Oops. Now, window capture. Okay. Okay, and now it's super tiny. Why is this giving me such issues? Is everything gonna be tiny? Why? Strange. I don't know why that's happening. But I guess we'll do it like this. If this works, I guess it works. Could be worse. I think I don't really know again why it's doing that, so I apologize. But I put Brooklyn needs a miracle. I got rid of our no chance stuff. Um, I got rid of no chance because I guess there's a chance for anything to happen, but they need a miracle because the reason I was doing this is because Charlotte Hornets might be in a worse spot than the um than the Brooklyn Nets are. Um all right, good. Well, it looks like we're back up and running. So they've got their a swap in 2026. They've got their own pick in 27. They got a bunch of picks in 27 protected. So these picks are probably not going to be great. They're probably not going to get this Miami pick, I would assume. One rounder. Yeah, I don't know. They don't have a ton of. And I feel like they're stuck with LaMelo if they trade him. Like, honestly, they might have been a no chance. So do I bring no chance back now? I just got rid of it, but I might bring it back. Um, no, I'm just gonna. We'll just roll with it. Um, and when I talk about doing the not with current roster construction, it it's like okay, maybe one or two people need to be moved, or maybe they're one or two pieces away. I could see a possibility is like there is the ground, there's the frame where it will work. This team has maybe either done it recently or has, top of the top players, but Trae Young isn't like, a top 10, top 12 player. So they've got some things to figure out, but the thing that makes them different than the Celtics is like, right, the Celtics got Tatum when he comes back. They've still got their own picks even as a good team. Like if the Celtics didn't have any of their own picks, they would probably be not with the current roster construction. But like there are certain things that count more than others. Chicago, jeez, Chicago is maybe the worst team in the league, at managing their assets. I mean, Vucevic, they're about to release into free agency. Um, Patrick Williams, they've got him wrapped up for 4 years. Giddy, they're about to, it seems like, maybe wrap him up for 4 years. Although, even though the Warriors want him, which the Warriors might be the worst team at managing their assets other than the Bulls. Um, there's just not a lot to this team. This team, they need a miracle, man. I mean, you talk about picks. I mean, they got so via Portland, but protected, so they're not going to get that pick. Um, they've actually got pretty much all of their first rounders. They don't have any second rounders, which doesn't surprise me. But they've got only their picks. Only pick that's not theirs is Portland. And if they're just going to keep teetering around the middle of the league like they've been and not really ever bottoming out, like they should have bottomed out 4 years ago, probably. But they didn't. So they're, a team that they haven't even really started their rebuild yet. Modest Buzelis was a good pick. He might be, one of the better sophomore year players this season, but there's just not a lot of stuff that I feel like is going to stick. Like Kobe White could be traded at any moment. Ayo Dosunmu could be traded at any moment. There's just not a lot there that you could build with. Um, the Cleveland Cavaliers, I think, are our first team that has the a best chance of doing it. Now, I've been critical of the Cleveland Cavaliers recently because they haven't made it past the second round in the Donovan Mitchell era, and they have been a very favorited team. Like this year, they were the best team in the East. So everyone thought it was either going to be them or Boston in the conference finals or NBA finals. Neither of those teams made it. Cleveland went out pretty sad again. Um, and yeah, I guess Garland probably won't be ready to start the year. They are, I think, the most expensive team in the league. I mean, they're over $18 million into the second apron, so they can't aggregate trades. But their picks, they've got a San Antonio holds right to swap pick for this season, so the most favorable. Wow. Okay, so that ton of protections, that pick probably they won't get. They same here. They don't have their own pick until 2030. So that is, like they've got some things to figure out now. I don't know again if that means like maybe they trade Jared Allen, who's on, a pretty good deal for this type of, where the NBA is in contracts and his production. Maybe letting Mobley run the five, or maybe again they trade Garland and Mitchell starts his like point guard ish arc. I don't know, but they are very expensive. They brought in Lonzo Ball and Larry Nance, um, which is good because they didn't have a backup center other than Tristan Thompson, who's not even on the roster right now, I guess. And he's not really a center. He's more of a four, but he can play some big man minutes. Um, but like, I mean, everyone here is wrapped up for at least one more season after this, other than Dean Wade and Larry Nance, and then whatever these two-way guys. But this team, they've got the best chance to do it, especially. But I think, for them, like I said, for the Celtics, I think it would happen later, like 2028, 2029, 2030. I think the Cavs have maybe like this coming season is obviously their best chance, and then they've got 2027. But like, if they flake out again in the second round, especially this year, they've got to make some big moves, man. I mean, they're gonna have to at some point, anyways, because of this. Um, but yeah, they've got, but they do have the best chance. But I think they are. It they're lower because we just saw they don't have almost any picks until after these 5 years. They're a second apron team, which means that things are going to need to be blown up at some point unless they, get ahead of that and they do it in a relatively smarter way. And yeah. Dallas. Dallas is a hard team to do. Obviously, they did the big thing last year in trading Luka Doncic for Anthony Davis. Kyrie won't be ready to start the year. Obviously, got the first pick. Um, I mean, they still got Clay, they got Gafford, they got Lively, they got D'Lo, who they signed, they got Max. So, like, this team is super good. This is another team that I think they have. It's hard because, right, Anthony Davis and Kyrie Irving both are championship winners, but they did it. They were both the second guy. Now, Anthony, like, they were both the second guy to the same person, actually. Um, And right, Kyrie's been a one option before, hasn't worked out. AD's been a one option before, hasn't worked out. But I mean, together, who knows? Kyrie was just again in another finals in 2024. AD again has won. Clay's got championship DNA. What do their picks look like? They do not have a lot. So they've got theirs for this year, which I can't imagine is going to be. I would imagine it's going to be like a low 20s. Um, OKC holds the right to swap. Houston holds the right to swap. So they don't have a lot of picks of their own. They got 2026, 2029, and then they got excuse me, some things to play around with here and there. I could see a possibility where they do it. I don't think they have the best chance to do it like a Cleveland. I think Cleveland has a better chance to do it. And if we're being honest, I hate talking about this because some people really overdo this, but with how the East is going to look next year, it is an East team's best chance to win it all. Like they to win another one. Because I mean, you think about it. So like OKC won last year, West. Boston was an East team for sure, but the Nuggets West. The Warriors were in the West. The Bucks were in the East, sure, but the Lakers West. Raptors were East. So I guess it's like 3 to 4 sort of in the 2020s type time, but this is definitely an East team's best chance, because definitely more than ever the West is going to be a bloodbath, because you got to think about the teams that, like, the Mavericks weren't really in it last year after the Lucas stuff. They will be back in some conversations. The Spurs we expect to take a jump. The I mean, the Clippers got better. The Rockets got better. And then there are some teams like Pelicans can't have a worse year than last year, right? Um, so I mean, the West is just gonna be a bloodbath. Um, so let's go to Denver. Denver, I have an idea of where I want to put them. They made some very, very necessary moves in the off season. They got rid of one of their guys, Michael Porter Jr., but they got in a similar talent for a lot cheaper. And I think one more year than what Michael Porter Jr. had. They're not a second apron team. Still have the best player in the NBA. Um, Jamal Murray, who's been a good number two for pretty much Jokic's whole time there. Aaron Gordon, you wonder how he's doing because he was pretty banged up in the playoffs last year. Hopefully he comes back healthy. Um, Valanciunas is gonna play, so he finally gets a backup. Christian Braun probably gonna take a little bit of a jump. They brought in Bruce Brown, Tim Hardaway Jr., some necessary pieces there. So they've got some depth now. They still have the best player in the world. Their picks, they have their own picks pretty much, except for 2027, 2029. Um, no seconds in this time frame. I see this 1 second down there, but no seconds to move around. No, so like this is the team that they pretty much have to roll out with. And honestly, I think they do have a very good chance of Jokic, best player in the world, man. I mean, the roster is, I don't know if you would say better than their 2023 roster because that's when KCP was playing really good, Bruce Brown was playing really good, and who knows how they'll be. But I do think that they have the best chance to do it to win another one. Think I don't think Jokic is gonna only be a one time champion. And obviously, Jokic he's not old, but he's 30. So in the next 5 years, I mean 30, he'll be about 35. He's gonna you're gonna have to do some stuff, but I do think that they have a very good chance to do it. Next team, Detroit basketball. Let's see how this goes. So, oops, not the Hawks. Um, Detroit had a very great year. Cade Cunningham looks like he's going to be one of those guys. He wrapped up. Tobias Harris is on the last year of his deal. Duncan Robinson, they signed for a lot more than I would have thought. Um, they've got him wrapped up till he's about 34, so hopefully that works out. Beef Stew, they got Karis LeVert. Jaden Ivey, they're going to need to figure out. Asar Thompson and Ron Holland. Hopefully, they get offensive jumps from those two guys because those guys really are their wings of the future, right? Like, they would hope, that Asar takes a jump. Because, right, last year, 8-5, Ron Holland, 6-3. Now, granted, Ron Holland's a rookie. Asar is now a third-year player, but you want to see some jumps because they were both fifth overall pick, right? Um, they've got they want to see jumps so they can not have to rely on a almost 34-year-old Tobias Harris, right? I mean, they need Marcus Sasser, some backup ball handling to do something. And yeah, I mean, 21 picks. Let's see. So they've got their own first. They've got their own first next year. Got their own first in 2028. They got a lot of seconds, okay? They have a ton of second round picks, which again works in trades now more than ever in the NBA. But they've got all their picks. But with that being said, they just not with the current roster construction. I don't necessarily think that they would need a miracle like those other teams. Like I think needs a miracle is for the bottom of the Brooklyn Nets, the Charlotte Hornets, where they don't have anything that looks promising, right? Like they are stuck. They have nothing that looks promising. Detroit at least has something promising in Cade Cunningham, who's probably gonna be a top 5 point guard this year. It needs a miracle is not only for bad teams. If there are some teams flaking out, if there are some teams doing whatever, then whatever. But um, Golden State Warriors. Let's check it out. The only team in the league who hasn't done anything. Who hasn't done anything. Look, they've got their own first round pick. Okay, they've got their own first round picks. That's fine. No second rounders. Whatever. Stephen Curry, 37. Jimmy's 35. Draymond's 35. Buddy Hield's 32. Um, and then other than that, I mean, look at their roster. They've got they've got 10 players right now. And I know rookies aren't here and things like that, but I don't even know if they had a rookie anyways. But you're telling me your entire roster right now, like these are all the guys I have to play. And I cannot, they do so bad with managing players. If it's not Stephen Curry, they suck at everything else. Like Trace Jackson Davis is their best center on their team. Let's see how much Tracy played last year. He had a very good rookie season for being a what was he, the 55th pick, 57th pick. Okay, he played 62 games. He started 37, but 15 minutes a game. Like, sure, these are not numbers that could jump off of, but again, when it's 16 minutes, giving you 8, 5, and a block per game. I mean, per 36, what is that? I mean, that's 17, 11, and 2.5. Last year, it would have been 15, 11, and 1.5. Like, that is what they need from a center. And they just aren't doing it because they want to play Draymond at the five, or they want to play, like, I understand Quentin Post, I understand that, but Draymond at the five isn't gonna work anymore, bro. There, not a lot of teams are doing this no center thing anymore. Most teams are running two centers. The Cavs, Mobley and Allen. The Thunder, who just won the thing, Chet and Hartenstein. There's gonna be another team in here, like the Mavericks, AD and Lively slash Gafford. I'm sure the Hawks will run times with Porzingis and Okongwu. Um, the Pistons, I mean, I don't know how many minutes of Stewart and Durant, but ooh, excuse me, like the Rockets have so many centers because that is what is working. Draymond, 35-year-old Draymond, 6'6" Draymond running the center just isn't gonna work anymore, bro. It's just not. Um, Now, I don't want to say they need a miracle because they've got Stephen Curry. They've got the greatest shooter ever. They've got the top one of the top two point guards ever. They've got Jimmy, who was not the same play. I mean, 17, 5, and 5 is pretty good, I will say, but like Moses Moody, they don't use Moses Moody the right way. He's underappreciated, I think. Kaminga, we know what I'm not talking about the Kaminga thing anymore until a decision is actually made. Um, but like and then they use pods like he is this lord and savior, but I don't know. I think that Kaminga, they don't use Kaminga. Kaminga is the third or fourth best player on this team. Kaminga is better than Quentin Post, Tracy Jackson, Podzemski, Buddy Hield, Moses Moody. Argue what you want about these top, like he's obviously not better than Curry and Jimmy. Some people might think he's better than Draymond, but that might just be personal hatred towards him. So I'll give him fourth. They just don't play him. So I have nothing to say. I can't help them with that. So that's three players: Tracy, Kaminga, Moody, that they don't use the ways that they should be. Moody they got better with doing, but and again, so I don't want to say they need a miracle, but they're not winning with this current roster's construction. They've thrown everything they can at Steph Curry, and I understand you want to give Curry one last shot. But a lot of people thought 2022 was the last shot, and then you were supposed to, bridge into this new time with, some young guys, let them work. Just because you ran for 10 years with Stephen Curry and the greatest 3-point shooting backcourt ever, like when Curry's gone, are you still gonna run like you have the greatest shooter ever on your team? That's my issue. Like I just don't see the promising. Like I don't know what they're gonna do when Curry's gone. I pray that once Curry retires or whatever, that they get Steve Kerr out of there. Because Steve Kerr is, I don't think Steve Kerr can't do it with young players. He can't. He wasn't able to do much with D'Lo when he was there. He got Wiggins to be, I guess an all-star and whatever in that one year, but Wiggins was also like 27, I think, at that time. I mean, Kaminga, obviously, like, there are just young players that Steve Kerr just can't deal with. And I think Steve Kerr is not the coach that a lot of people think he is. But again, that just might be my take on it. But not with the current roster construction. Again, needs a miracle is pretty close, but they do have Steph Curry and Jimmy Butler, so I will, let them need to. I will give them the benefit of the doubt, even though I hate doing that for teams like this. But they need to figure things out, bro. Not doing anything. I know Curry isn't gonna do that, but Curry needs to go in there and demand stuff. Curry needs to demand, and hell, if he needed to, if I was Curry, I might be walking in there asking for a trade. Now that's a crazy, but when I understand getting Jimmy Butler and extending him, but I mean, what did Jimmy Butler get signed to? 2 years, 54 million. So they're on the same track. Like all these guys are on the same path, but I don't know. You if you want to give Curry the best shot at doing this, you need to go all in. You can't just do part of it and then leave because then there was no there was no point even doing the Jimmy Butler stuff. Um, and I completely agree. But then if you're gonna go towards the young players, you have to commit to the young players or commit to other young players. You can't just say, okay, Curry, Jimmy, Draymond, and then we'll throw in whoever else and that'll win us something. You just can't do that. It's not a three-player sport. It's not a two-player sport. It's a team 5v5 thing, and the Warriors just get caught behind. Even though I know they were good with Jimmy when he got there, but before they got Jimmy, they weren't even going to make the play in. So I don't know. They need to figure some shit out because it it pains me to talk about the Warriors. Just because of how like awful they are at doing things like that, and it's the worst talking about them. Houston Rockets. You know me. You know I am a one of the biggest Houston Rockets believers. I've been a believer of them since the Harden days. They are. I don't really do the whole second team thing, but if I had a second team, the Houston Rockets would be my second team after the Celtics. Because I mean, even back to the James Harden when I started watching, it was like, bro, I've always liked how their team and whatever, and the players. So I've just kind of find myself attached to them more and more. But so they don't have their own first round pick this coming season. They've got a 2027 swap, 2027 a Phoenix one, which might be such an amazing pick. 2028. Like this team is built to do it. But again, KD's on a 1 year deal because he didn't. I don't think they extended him yet. Sengun, I was just talking about how much I like the Rockets. Dude, I'm not a Sengun guy. I don't know what it is. I'm not a Sengun guy. He's a good player. He made his first All Star appearance last year, which I thought was deserved. But I'm just not. Those centers like him, Sabonis. I mean, Jokic is different because he is literally one of the greatest players of all time. Um, Greatest offensive weapons of all time, and he's really the only guy that has made this work. I just don't like those types of centers. But Sengun is a very good player. I'm really hoping we get a really nice Amen jump. I mean, we got a nice Amen jump this past season, but like if this could get to like 16, 17 points, if the rebounds could stay what it is and the assist jump to 5 or something, because I mean, hey, he was a point guard before he got to the NBA, so he can do that. Um, they re-signed Fred, which don't know how happy I was about, but he I guess is a decent guy to have. Steven Adams, they brought in Clint Capella. Jabari looks like he'll be probably starting again. They brought in Dorian Finney-Smith. Reese Shepard should get some minutes. Tari Eason's going to be another real player for them. Got my guy JD down here. This team could do some special things, man. Now, do they have the best chance of doing it though? That is something that might be a stretch because as much as I love the Kevin Durant stuff, as much as I love Amen Thompson and pretty much that whole Rockets, I could see a best chance is like there's not a lot of people because like if I feel like I can't have more than 5 teams in best chance because there's not more than 5 teams winning in the next 5 years, right? There might not even be 5. We might have some repeats, and there's at least one other team that has to be in best chance without even thinking twice about it. So I might come back to Houston, but I think for now I'm gonna put them in. I could see the possibility of it. Uh, but that is so hard to pick. Next we've got the Pacers. The Pacers are in for a rough year. They have their own first round picks. Okay, yeah, they have their own first round picks pretty much every year. Um, oops, they've got obviously um, Hallie's out for the year. They lost Miles Turner, so they really need jumps from Andrew Nemhard and Benedict Mathurin. Who do I think it would benefit more? Like, or who do I think a jump from would benefit the team more? That's hard to say because I mean I would probably say Nemhard because I think when Halliburton is back, Nemhard's going to be starting either way. Mathurin might not be starting if you have Aaron Nesmith. You have, again, rosters change all the time. Unless, Benedict really takes that jump. But, Benedict Mathurin, 16, 6, and 2. He just maybe isn't as, qualified defensively as Nesmith is, and that's why he's not the starter. But I would prefer a Benedict Mathurin jump, but I think the team would prefer the Andrew Nemhard jump. Because, right, 10 points, 3 rebounds, 5 assists. If that could jump up to like 17, 3 and 6 or something, that's a really what they need. Another secondary ball handler. I think both of you, that Benedict and Nemhard, um, are will both be players that people will have in the early talks of most improved. But when you lose Miles Turner, your starting center is gonna be Isaiah Jackson or James Wiseman or Jay Huff. And again, Siakam can't play center for a whole season or whole games at a time. Neither can Obi Toppin. We haven't seen much from Jarvis Walker yet, but I'm gonna say, even though they were very close, I'm gonna say not with the current roster construction. They need to do some more. The Clippers, bro. The Clippers are gonna be such a fun team this year, but I don't know if there's really a spot for them. Because, right, Kawhi, James Harden, John Collins, Zubac, Bogdanovich, Derek Jones, Brooke Lopez, Chris Dunn, Bradley Beal, Chris Paul. Like, that's like, how many real players is that will be fighting for rotational minutes? So you've got, 4. I assume 5, even though he didn't have a great year. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Batum was playing some minutes last year, so maybe 11. God forbid you see a jump from a Kobe Brown or Gab Christie. And then, picks, they don't have the right. OKC holds the right to swap in this one. They really don't have a lot of picks. They are great, but knowing Kawhi's health, again, 15 points last year from a guy like Kawhi. Harden had a great year, but I don't know if he's going to be able to stay above 22 points. John Collins will be, it's going to be a great guy to have alongside them at the 4. It's so hard because, like, their current roster construction, I think, could do it. So I can't put them in not with the current roster construction, but I don't really see the possibility of them doing it. Like, I really don't. So, needs a miracle? Is that because, like, hold on, excuse me. All right. Sorry about that. Because I think is there a miracle Kawhi Leonard plays a whole, 65, 70 game season. James Harden can stay healthy because they are old. I think they're the oldest team either ever or at least they are in the league. I think I'm going to put them in needs a miracle, and their miracle is that Kawhi Leonard's healthy. Because if Kawhi Leonard's not healthy, then no. And Kawhi Leonard needs to be better than 15 and 3. But yeah, I mean, the age 34, 35, 33, 37, 36, 31, 32, 40. They've got like over half their rotation is over 30. So I'm going to say they need a miracle, and their miracle is that Kawhi Leonard is healthy. People are really going to misinterpret this and say, oh, you think the Detroit Pistons have a better shot at winning? I'm not doing in order about who has. There are tiers, I'm putting them in there. And sure, they are on the same tier as the Charlotte Hornets. Obviously, they have a better chance than the damn Hornets to do it, but they need a miracle, and their miracle, I think, is Kawhi Leonard being healthy, because I don't know really what else they can do. I mean, they aren't a second apron team, but I mean, Kawhi's not going to have much trade value. I mean, he would have some. James Harden, not like you can't really trade any of these guys. So I'm going to put them in needs a miracle, even though I really like the Clippers team. Here now, how do we talk about this team? The other side of the Luka Doncic trade, obviously. You've got soon to be 41-year-old, year 23, LeBron James, who still averaged 24, 7, and 9 last year. Luka Doncic, who is one of the best stars in the league. I mean, he had a bad year last year. Like, we can objectively say this was not a great year because of injuries, but 28, 8, and 8. Bad year. Like, that's insane. Rui, I think they should have moved on from Rui a while ago. I know he helps with the bench and whatever, but man, I think Rui should have been moved. This contract could have been used. Reeves, Reeves is one of those players that they are. I've seen so many reports about them saying Reeves is going to be the backcourt mate for Luka for the next, however long. Paying Austin Reeves $35-40 million, you're just going to pigeonhole yourself, I think. They got DeAndre Ayton. Basically, this isn't what this means, because it's not like this isn't me saying Luka's going to retire at 31, 32 years old, but I think if the Lakers can't win in the next 5 years, is Luka going to get a ring in LA? If, say, he stays the rest of his career in LA, does Luka get a ring? Like, I think they need to win in the next 5 years, whether that is, while LeBron is still here, or it's, a year or two after LeBron leaves. I think they need to win in the next 5 years. This isn't like they could, they should. They need to win. But, well, did we look at what their picks look like? I can't imagine they got a damn pick. They do. They got 3 of their own picks, including this year's. Realistically, I can see the possibility, but I don't know if they have the best chance to do it. That's so hard, bro. That is so hard to do. Um, the Grizzlies sucks, man. I'm a huge John Morant fan. I like Jaren as well. Like a lot of things on their team, but they just traded Desmond Bain for 5 first round picks. So they got theirs this year. They've got, the 127, 28, but then they've got, all these Orlando picks coming in 2029, 2030, 2031, 2032. Or not 2032, that's not a first rounder, but like, I just don't think I don't think this current because like you trade that Desmond Bain trade is a trade that you would look at and be like, that's a trade that you do. Um, that's a trade that you do when you're rebuilding or something like that. If that makes any sense. So, Ja's great. Jaron's great. KCP didn't have a great year. He's pretty much stuck there. They re-signed Aldama. Brandon Clark is here. They got Ty Jerome. They're gonna be a competitive team, but I don't see it with the current roster construction. Um, wow, yeah. Um, Miami, another rough team. We're on a streak of some rough teams right now, man. Um, and obviously, if I'm putting, for most instances, if I'm putting you in this needs a miracle tier, that means your current roster construction doesn't like isn't the right roster construction too. I hope that that you understand that. Except I mean the Clippers current roster construction could, but they are a different type of needs a miracle. And their miracle is his name is Kawhi Leonard. Um, so they do not really fit with the roster construction. So I think their roster construction could do it, but they need a different type of miracle than these teams do. So I just want to get that out the way. But the Miami Heat are in such a awful position. I like Bam Adebayo. I'm not a Tyler Hero guy. Um, they are paying these guys. Can we see? Look at how much they will be paying. How much they will be paying Bam Adebayo. Bam Adebayo is a good player, but these were his season stats last year: 15, 10, and 4. He's 28. Um, Tyler Hero, let's see what his contract is. 31, 33. I think they just extended him, maybe. I don't know. And even he's 25. I'm a big, where's he at? Khalil Ware guy. I think that him and Bam in the front court is going to be fun, but fun doesn't win necessarily. Terry Rozier, horrible contract. Andrew Wiggins, horrible contract. Norman Powell will be off this year, sure. Davion Mitchell seems like a promising guy for them this season. They got off the Duncan Robinson, so good for them. But Jaime Jaquez, they don't know what to do with Jaime Jaquez because he was one of the top. I think he was all rookie first team last year or 2 years ago. Last year he was getting DMPs. Jovic, I mean, they haven't gotten much from Jovic in his career. This team, so this is obviously in one of the bottom two tiers. Not the current roster construction, but like, again, if I'm saying not with the current roster construction, that means there is something here. I don't think if you are paying Tyler Hero and Bam Adebayo at least $30 to $50 million each, I don't. I just don't think that that's gonna work. They're not number one options. Hell, they probably aren't number two options either. I would not have them as number two options probably on my team. They are at least number three options. So they need. I feel like people aren't going to be happy with me if I put them in needs a miracle. But I really believe they need a miracle, bro, because they haven't been able to get anybody. They've been rumored to get They were rumored to get Donovan Mitchell when all that was happening. They were rumored to get Damian Lillard, Drew Holiday. Like they get nobody. Nobody has come to Miami. It almost reminds me of like, right? Like obviously they got or not Jordan. They got LeBron, Wade, Bosh. Like Wade was already there, but they got LeBron and Bosh to come play with Wade, whatever. Like they seemed like this crazy good spot to where they were gonna, that's where people wanted to be. It almost reminds me of when, right, in Chicago, people wanted to be in Chicago. Jordan was there, blah blah blah. Chicago hasn't been able to get anything for a long time either. Now, granted, they got Butler. That might have been a trade though. Whatever. Hero and Bam were both draft picks by them, but it kind of reminds me of like Chicago, where like nice place, nice city. You would think that people would want to go there, but nobody wants to go there. And while Pat Riley is over there running stuff, I just don't know if that's gonna work. And are they how expensive are they? So they've got some room. They're close to the first apron, sort of. Um, people gonna. I feel like people are gonna really take that. Like, I don't think there's anything really on this team that could stay if this team was winning a championship. I think if Miami wins a championship in the next 5 years, their roster looks completely different. So I'm putting them in needs a miracle. They need a miracle. Um, Milwaukee Bucks. I mean, I feel like Milwaukee we've talked about so much recently, so this one isn't gonna take a long time. But so they've got this pick, right? But they don't really have any of theirs in this time frame that we're talking about. And then we know what this roster looks like. They got Miles Turner, they waived Dame, sure. They got Kuzma, they got Bobby Portis. Kevin Porter's here, Ryan Rollins, people are expecting a jump from. Gary Trent, Gary Harris, Dorian Prince. It's a stinky roster. This is a rough roster. So I'm gonna say, but they do have Giannis. So I'm not gonna put them in needs of miracle because they have their miracle, but their roster construction, like, that just isn't gonna get it. That's just not gonna get it done. So I'm gonna put them there. Um, Down to our last, what is that, like 10, 11 teams. If we go to the Timberwolves, right? So they are a first apron team. They're about 10 million away from being in a second apron, but they've got Anthony Edwards, they got Rudy Gobert, they got Julius Randle, Jaden McDaniels, Naz Reid, Dante DiVincenzo, Mike Conley. They're gonna need some production from Rob and Terrence Shannon this year. Um, I do like the extensions of Naz Reid. I do like extending Julius Randle. He was very good for them last season. Um, I think I don't know if I can see it. Like, I thought in 2024 when they were playing against Dallas in the conference finals, I thought that was a very good chance. Like, as a Celtic fan, I was so happy when Dallas won because Dallas obviously couldn't compete with Boston. We saw that in the finals. But I was so much more afraid of the Timberwolves than I was um the Mavericks. But believe it or not, I don't know. Like, they're gonna be a good regular season team. I think, what were they last year? The sixth seed. Here's what their picks look like. I don't think they. I don't know if this roster can, like, Rudy Gobert. I really don't know. I think they have to hold on to Rudy Gobert either until he retires or this contract is up, whichever comes first. I mean, I'm assuming it's gonna be the contract, but like, I don't know. I think they've got some good thing like Naz Reid, Julie. Like, I think they've got good things, but I just don't think that this current roster really could do it. But then again, if I think the Celtics could have a possibility of doing it, even after trading Drew and Porzingis, I feel like I gotta put the Timberwolves there too. Anthony Edwards is only getting better every year. People are gonna want to play with Anthony Edwards. So I guess I'm gonna put it in. I could see a possibility, but I think they're another team like the Celtics where it would probably be in the late, like 2029, 20, like something like in the back half of this. Um, so yeah, I guess these guys. So either I can't have these guys have to be on the same tier. But again, it's hard to because right, like with the current roster construction, no, like most of these teams, damn near every team on this could be in not with current roster construction, obviously, but we're predicting. So in the next 5 years, like with if what I see on their current roster, do I think that they could do it? And if I'm looking with the current roster, like it's so hard to do it because again, I think the Celtics at least have the luxury of having, Jaylen Brown's like a top 20 player as well. Anthony Edwards doesn't have another top 20 player. And even that, like, the Celtics also have Derek White, one of the better perimeter defenders, in the league. And the Wolves do have that because their defense is amazing. But, oof, man, there's some rough teams to do here. But I want to get to our next team here. We might come back. But the Pelicans, where are the Pelicans at? Right here. Pelicans were the 14th seed. Honestly, I might keep this one short and sweet. Yeah, short and sweet. Um, they need a miracle. They need a miracle. I just don't. Zion's great when he plays, but if I have to say he's great when he plays, not a good sign. Um, Now we've got the next couple teams are going to be interesting. Well, not really, but they could be, whatever. Um, Oof. I mean, 2026, 2028, 20. I don't know if I ever knew that you could do um, protections on a second protected 30 through 31 through 45. Like, that's crazy. But this roster got better. This is a team similar to the Cavs in a way because like they're in the East. Obviously, it's either in my mind there is no way it is not the Knicks or the Cavs in the NBA Finals this year unless someone tears their ACL, breaks their legs, something like that. There is no way that one of those two teams isn't in the finals, or at least they've got to be in the conference finals. But I mean, this is their best chance. They got a couple reinforcements with Yabusele. They got Jordan Clarkson, Deuce McBride still here. Different coach, great team. I do think they're in a similar boat for the Cavs, where I think they've got one of the better chances to do so. I know New York, the Knicks are cursed. They haven't won anything in so long, but excuse me, they are getting better and better, man. They were in the conference finals last year, or this past season, whatever you want to say. They couldn't get there, but again, I mean, they are like the Cavs when I say they have to do it or sooner rather than later because I think if they wait too long, they're not going to be able to get it, and they're going to be stuck in this. They're not going to get it, and they're going to have to end up making some big trades that might end up hurting them. Do we just look for fun? Do we? I mean, let's just look for fun. A 68 win team. I mean, everyone is locked up. Everyone's locked up but Ousmane Dieng, and even you know once Hartenstein leaves, like they're not even a first apron team yet. They're not a first apron team yet. Granted, Shea just got extended, J-Dub got extended, Chet got extended, so they're not all on that, so they will be, but like when they are, by Caruso, what when they are, by Hartenstein, they've got Lu Dort, they got Isaiah Joe, they got Casey Wallace, Aaron Wiggins. They drafted what's his name? What's the big guy's name? He was like the 15th pick or something. Oh, I don't remember what his name. It'll come to me at some point. Nikola Topic didn't even play last season. They're just in the greatest, and look at the picks, 27 picks. How many times have we looked at a team and it says OKC has the rights to swap with this pick? I mean, next year alone they've got three. They've got three. They've got a Utah pick that's protected 1 through 8, so they're probably not gonna get that one. But Philly, like their own. Then look at next year. Oh my gosh. And then the year after, only one in 2028. But then 2029 they got two. Like there are just so many picks, and it's crazy. They've done such a great job with it. This obviously best chance, no doubt. Orlando Magic, another really tough team to do because they just acquired Desmond Bain. But if I'm being honest, like Franz, Bain, Suggs, Paolo, like they've got a bunch of centers that are fine, I guess. Wendell's fine, Goga's fine, Mo Wagner is fine, and then Anthony Black would be. They want to jump from Anthony Black. They got Tyus Jones, but they need wing help off the bench, whether that's Tristan Da Silva, whether that's Jet Howard, whether that is Jonathan Isaac jumping back up again, or something like that. But this team is so expensive. Like I just did. What did I do yesterday? I don't know. Actually, I don't know if it was yesterday. It was some. I was doing something, and it was like, okay, Franz 38 million at the start of his 5 year deal. Desmond Bain 37 at the start of a 4 year deal, and Jalen Suggs 35 million at the start of a 5 year deal. Oh, they did extend Pala. Oh, what is I mean, oh my god, oh my gosh, 41 mil. This team, I don't know if they're gonna do it. I don't know if they're gonna do it. I don't know if they're gonna do it because I'm not. Franz had a great season, but Franz needs to improve shooting. Now I guess that's why you get Desmond Bain because they need shooting, but like their offense hasn't been able to do as much. They haven't been. I forget what it is. They haven't been like a top 10 or top 15 offense in like 25 years or something like that. Something crazy like that. I think I don't think they can do it with the current roster construction. But I guess I don't know. They're just a young team and we haven't seen much. So I'm just gonna put them with not with the current roster construction as of right now. Yeah, I don't really know if I how much I believe. Um, and that might be like a jackass type thing to say, but oops. See, sorry, I am moving things around. All right. Who's next? Philadelphia. I already know where I want to put them without even looking at this, and it's gonna be similar to a team we already did. Good roster, man. Good roster. Tyrese, Embiid, Paul George. Hopefully, can have a better season. But like Andre Drummond's here, Kelly Oubre, Jared McCain will be back. They got VJ Edgecombe. They've got Trendon Watford, who we're really excited about. Jabari Walker's here. Adem Bona's bet like they've got a lot. They picks, so they've got 2027, 2028 via Los Angeles Clippers. Might be a good pick, honestly, to have. They are very similar to the Clippers. They need a miracle. Their miracle is that Joel Embiid is healthy. Healthy, healthy, healthy. Again, everyone probably says this. I don't think, like, hold on, how do I word it? Like, nobody knows, is Joel Embiid healthy? Is he going to be ready to start the season? I just I don't know. Nobody knows what he is. If he's even gonna play this season, who knows? Paul George just had a little surgery because I think he got hurt in practice. But like, I don't know, man. The Phoenix Suns obviously just traded Kevin Durant. They got rid of Bradley Beal. They got Booker, Jalen Green, Dylan Brooks, Grayson Allen, Royce O'Neal, Mark Williams, Nick Richards, Ryan Dunn. Um, Not the worst thing in the world, but you look at their picks. Oh my goodness, they don't have a single pick that's unprotected in the next 5 years. All these Washington can swap. Excuse me, sorry. Um, Houston has the right to swap Brooklyn, New York, or Washington via Utah, Cleveland, or Minnesota. Like there's just so much. Like Devin Booker's a great player, man, but they, I don't know. They didn't even when they traded they traded Kevin Durant. They didn't even get their 2027 pick back. So like they are in such a rough spot. Honestly, I'm putting them and they need a miracle. Booker's great. Not with the but they can't do it with that current roster and I don't think that's something where like say okay Jalen Green balls and averages 25 this season. I don't think you can just go and trade him and be boom whatever you get for Jalen Green he's gonna be back. So I'm putting them in need a miracle. Portland again. A lot of these teams are so hard to do. Portland has a weird off season. They traded back for Drew Holiday. They cut back Damian Lillard. Um, Jeremy Grant, they still got making a lot of money. Denny Adia, who's shown a lot. Some people have been bold enough to put him in All Star conversations next year, which I think is insane. He's a very good player. He's an underrated player to a lot of people, but All Star, can't really have. There's not a lot of players that can be an All Star on a 13 seed. Um, I mean, Robert Williams is still here, who I hope can get back and being healthy. Scoot Henderson, Shane Sharp, Klingon, Tumani Kamara has been a bright spot. I just don't. I don't think even if Damian Lillard comes back and he averages, I mean, 22. Let's not even 22 points from the Achilles. Drew Holiday, who knows what if he's gonna be here even for this season. Who knows if he's gonna be here next season? Like anything like that. I don't. This team doesn't do anything for me. So I'm gonna say they they probably need a miracle for being honest. Um, yeah, I just don't. I don't know. Sacramento. Sacramento. I'm gonna put them here and then look because I think that's already where they're gonna be. They are a very hold on. They are a very similar team to the Bulls, like literally and figuratively, because they've got a lot. They've got Levine, they got DeRozan, they've got their foreign center who is a good player, but yikes. Um, this team just isn't gonna do. Like offensively, this team is probably gonna be very good. Defensively, between Levine, DeRozan, if Malik Monk is still here, Domantas Sabonis, like Keegan Murray's their best defense. Devin Carter, but like I've seen things that they want to package Devin Carter and Malik Monk together and get them out of here. Terrence Davis is back. Wow, but like Keon Ellis, they didn't use like they did a couple years ago. They got Schroeder. They apparently want Westbrook as well. Um, they need a miracle. I say whatever you want. The Spurs are obviously are a unique team because they have one of the guys on it, right? De'Aaron Fox, they re-signed, which I made a video about. Go check that out. I was not too much of a fan of it. So if you check this out, this guy's getting paid more than Devin Booker. This guy's getting paid more than Stephen Curry, Luka Doncic, a handful of other players. And these are great numbers. Like, these are great numbers. 25, 5, and 6. Great. But we haven't seen how it's worked yet. De'Aaron Fox is a one-time All-Star type of guy, and I guess that's not really what you should go off of, but I mean, so you like if you think you got probably next year starting, you got De'Aaron Fox, Stephon Castle, uh, Devin Vassell at the three, Harrison Barnes, and then Wemby. Off the bench, you got Keldon Johnson, you got Kelly Olynyk, Luke Cornett, Jeremy Sohan, Champagnie. You got Dylan Harper. Like this is a very good team, and they definitely could have. I could see the possibility of them winning in the next 5 years. The reason they are not in best chance is because nothing's guaranteed, right? Like I think in a certain time, like if Wemby was drafted 10 years ago, maybe in the first 5 years, I probably could have gave you best chance because whatever. But even if Wemby is the face of the league, best player in 3 years, best player in the league doesn't mean you're winning the championship anymore. Like, right, we had a time where we went through the LeBron times, we went through the Curry and Durant times, we went through the Giannis and Jokic times, but like, right, if you think about the some of the more recent champions, like Shea, some people had him as the best player last year in the league. Some people have him two, some people have him three, some people hate Shea and have him at nine or something. Jason Tatum, even though he wasn't really the Finals MVP, he was the best player on that team. A lot of people have him around five or six in the league. Jokic, best player, he won. Duh. Curry at the time of 2022 was a top 10 player, but he was not the best player in the league. Um, Giannis in 2021 was probably the best player in the league. Like LeBron, like there, I guess it's not really the best example, but I don't know. I can't guarantee that Wemby is gonna win a championship in his first 6 or 7 years. It doesn't happen for a lot of people, but it very well could happen. I don't want people to get that mixed up. Let's look at the Toronto Raptors. Off first thought, I'm gonna put them in now with the current roster construction. I don't know necessarily if they need a miracle because, well, actually, when they traded like OG and Siakam, they traded them for players and not really picks. But I mean, they've got all their picks pretty much. They pretty much only got their picks except for the Lakers second. I think they would be able to get something decent for RJ if they can trade him, which it doesn't look likely. But like quickly, I don't think is gonna like none of these. The only people I could see if it even would happen is Brandon Ingram or Scotty. Would be here. Would probably be the only two players. Maybe Grady Dick stay. Something like that. But I'm talking about the like starter type players. Like, and honestly, they might need a miracle. Honestly, they might need the miracle. Excuse me. Hold on. Um, I might have went wrong about how I was ranking this because there are a bunch of teams that like even some of the teams that not with the current roster construction, some of those teams need miracles. So honestly, I think I'm actually going to move the Toronto Raptors down to they need a miracle. I think, and then I mean, there's not really too much of a conversation with this. I mean, Utah is kind of just now recently starting their rebuild, and if you want to say like they still have marketing. They just got rid of Jordan Clarkson, Colin Sexton, but like they're kind of just now starting their rebuild after 2 or 3 years of trying, which at least they're starting. Some teams haven't even started yet. Um, I mean, Brooklyn's pretty much started too, but like, and then Washington, I think is better than Utah. I mean, it's like booty versus booty right there, but um, Washington definitely has more promising stuff than what Utah does, but they both need a miracle. But yeah, I think that's how we're gonna do it. So basically, what I've got is in the next 5 years, I think. Well, no, I can't say that actually because again, I don't know if the Cleveland Cavaliers or the Knicks are gonna do it. So when you look at best chance, it's like okay, 4 teams will win 5 championships in the next year, but that's not necessarily what I'm saying. Because again, I could see a possibility where some of these teams win, and I think this is how I'm gonna do it. I've been thinking about the Houston stuff. I've been thinking about the Celtics and Timberwolves, but I think this is pretty accurate, and I think I like how I did it. Um, it's just the teams that have the best chance of doing this. It doesn't mean that these are going to be the next 4 NBA champions. But yeah, make sure you guys let me know. Make sure you guys let me know how what you guys think. If I'm overrating a team and what they have, or if I'm underrating a team and what they have. But a lot of these are rough, and there is context, right? People are going to see the Clippers be right next to the Chicago Bulls and the Charlotte Hornets and be like, how are they on the same tier? But you don't understand. There's context behind it. Go back and watch if if you don't know what it is, because there is context to a lot of these. So please, remember that. Go back and watch if for a certain team if you want. Um, but yeah, it's also opinion, ranking, whatever. So I'm not gonna be perfect. You're not gonna agree with it. Nobody's probably gonna agree with this. But thank you for watching. Remember to subscribe. Also, go to my gaming channel. We do stuff over there where I'm playing games. I do 2K series. I do games other than 2K if you want to see stuff that's not basketball related. And then all my socials and everything are in description. Thank you for watching.